Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today's topic is going to be why Jamal Adams is dead wrong with his takes on the New York Jets. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. So the trade deadline has now come and gone. Leonard Williams was traded to the New York Giants. We know that Robbie Anderson's name was shopped around. He's still here. Le'Veon Bell's name was surprisingly shopped around. He is still here. And Jamal Adams was, someone who the Jets received calls on, and he is still here. Two out of those three guys took the news relatively well. Actually, better than relatively well. They took it extremely well. Le'Veon Bell, who everyone couldn't wait to run out of Pittsburgh and claim that he was a terrible guy, has been phenomenal with the New York Jets. Maybe not on the field so much with the Jets' offensive struggles, but from a locker room standpoint, from a veteran leadership standpoint, and from an overall just good guy, he's saying all the right things. He is beating down any negative rhetoric that was against him when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has been phenomenal with the New York Jets in that regard. And he was like, listen, I get it. I'm glad to be here with the New York Jets. I trust the process. It's going to be okay. And while I kill the Jets organization a lot, I respect that because that seems like a guy who, yes, he's getting paid handsomely to be here, but he wants to be here and he wants to turn this thing around. I am confident in that. Then you have Robbie Anderson, who I'm a very big fan of, and he is someone who made a ton of mistakes in his past, right? We know what happened with the police officer situation. Not good. Don't stand by him with that at all. But what he has done is matured. Robbie Anderson said that he was relieved that he wasn't traded so that he can fulfill his contract with the New York Jets and prove to be the receiver that everyone thinks he could be. And I love that answer. I hope the Jets re-sign him. And I wasn't a fan of moving Robbie Anderson because he plays on the offensive side of the ball. Both him and Le'Veon Bell, I didn't want to move because I want Sam Darnold to develop. That's the most important thing at this point. Wins and losses at this point in the season, throw it out the window. That shouldn't matter when you're 1-6. Now it's all about developing your 22-year-old quarterback. And if you traded Le'Veon Bell and Robbie Anderson, I don't see how that's possible. The guy who took it the hardest was obviously Jamal Adams, and he felt like he was lied to. He thought that there was no way that he would be shopped, and the fact that the Jets receiving calls on him, that means that the Jets wanted to move him and that, they didn't want him to be here long term, and he took it very personally. And he's dead wrong. This is a league where you have to do what's best for your team over long term. Whether you like it or not, the players are used as essentially pawns. And he is a great safety, a top 5 safety in the league, maybe even a top 3 safety in the NFL. But Joe Douglas would be beyond stupid not to listen to phone calls at 1-6. Since Jamal Adams has been drafted, the Jets are 10-29. I'll say it again, 10-29. They could lose 11 games this year with or without Jamal Adams. Obviously, this team is better with him there, but if you look at his positional value of strong safety, do you really need him long term? I'm not so sure. And supposedly the asking price from the New York Jets from the Dallas Cowboys, who he was rumored to go to, was a first and 2 seconds. And that seems like a very high price for Jamal Adams, but if you get a general manager or an owner like Jerry Jones who says, okay, we'll do it, then Joe Douglas has to take advantage because you are fleecing that team. You are getting 3 picks in the first 2 rounds, which is what the Jets desperately need because they need help at the 3 integral positions. Quarterback situation is a bit of a question mark right now, but you hope you have something with your 22-year-old quarterback. You also desperately need help at pass rush. Leonard Williams, we know, is better at stopping the run. He got the pressure stats. Good luck with him as a New York Giants fan if you're watching. But he is not someone who racked up the sacks. He has 0 sacks so far this year. He's not a big impact player. So they need help at getting to the pass rusher. That is huge in today's NFL. On the defensive side of the ball, you also need cornerbacks, people who can cover those wide receivers. Jets don't have that. Jermaine Johnson's supposed to be your number 1 cornerback. He stinks. He is terrible. They're going to cut bait with him after 2 years and after they gave him $70+ million. Darryl Roberts on the other side is probably best suited as like a 4th corner. He's probably a very good 4th cornerback. Poole has been a good slot corner. I'll give him that. And Hairston's probably, who you just traded for, is probably better than Jermaine Johnson, but is not a starting caliber cornerback at this point in his career. And there's 0 depth beyond that. So they really need to rebuild those 2 positions on the defensive side of the ball. And then offensively, you can make the case that they need 5 starting offensive linemen for next year. Their entire line stinks right now. Colecchio Semele situation, we know how awful that went. Ryan Khalil was a big swing and miss at center. Left tackle Calvin Beecham was bad before he got hurt. Brandon Shell on the right side isn't anything to write home about. And then right guard Brian Winters, he's very okay. Okay might even be a stretch. He's bad. That's 5 bad offensive linemen. So you really need to rebuild those positions. And the best way to do that is through the draft. So if you can get 3 premium picks in the first couple of rounds, if you're the New York Jets, you have to do it. Even if Dallas is picking 25th in the first round or later in the first round, you still need as many swings as possible. That's the point that I wanted to make so much with why maybe trading Jamal Adams wouldn't have been the worst thing. Especially if you're getting that. I'm not saying you give the guy away. I'm not saying you trade him for value that isn't good. But if you get someone to overpay, why not? The thing that really rubbed me the wrong way was the Tom Brady and Aaron Donald comments. He's like, well, those guys weren't being shopped around. Well, hold on. Those 2 teams were in the Super Bowl last year. Tom Brady has 1 million championship rings, MVPs, 50-plus touchdown seasons. There's a reason he's not being shopped. Aaron Donald is someone who can get 20-plus sacks a year. Those are 2 extremely important things for an NFL franchise. A elite, strong safety is not one of those important things. Yes, it would be a luxury to have, but it is not a necessity. Similar to the running back position on the offensive side of the ball. And I know I was a big someone who wanted to go out and get Le'Veon Bell, but you had a quarterback on your rookie deal, and this was a rare cap situation. In most cases, you don't need to pay a running back big money in order to have success. Running back, luxury. Safety, luxury. Yes, they're nice pieces to have, but it's not integral to what your team is doing. Offensive line, pass rush, cornerback, quarterback. Those 4 things are what you need to win in today's NFL. If you agree with me, let me know below. Do you think Jamal Adams overreacted? I certainly did. I did not like him doing that. He really needs to grow up and get off of Twitter right about now. Let me know on my Twitter at MattO'LearyNY or my other social medias. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Talk to you guys next time.